Alright. What's up, everybody here? Welcome back. Today we're casting some replays from the challenge that I put out to players. I said everybody in the StarCraft community, make a New Year's resolution, a strategy-focused New Year's resolution, and then tell your opponents about it. Essentially, announce your strategy at the start of the game. Send us the games that ended up being the funniest as a result of whatever this led to, win or lose. And this one already, we've got Toasty Boat in the top right, Rotting Tomb in the top left. Rotting Tomb, responding to Toasty Boat's Happy New Year, says, any chance you started this game and thought, bloody FF, I should have taken a bong rip first? Toasty Boat says, laugh my ass off, maybe. Rotting Tomb says, I did. Toasty Boat says, that's why I will do the 420 all in. Rotting Tomb here, apparently a bit of a stoner, has hit a little bit of the bong at the start of the game. And Toasty Boat, on the other hand, has said, well, you know what? I'll do a 420 all in. So I like that Toasty Boat came into this wanting to do the New Year's challenge, and then it's actually said, you know what? I could probably do an attack that hits at 4 minutes 20. I'm going to announce that. Rotting Tomb's having a bit of a laugh. Not sure if they believe it or not, but let's see how this goes. 2 barracks on the low ground. 2 barracks is already a lot of production to start with, so that's going to be a good beginnings to defending anything that happens. And a low ground gateway. So looks normally like an expand build when you go for the low ground gate, but whoa. Already getting a second gateway before the Cybercore as well, so doubling up on that production nice and early. The probe's still saying, please let me squeeze through here. Come on, I'm real skinny. I've been following that Jenny Craig diet. I've been doing Weight Watchers. Come on, please, but has to back off now. And a little bit transparent, just goes off to the south. Like, why aren't you returning home? Why would you be possibly heading down? Of course, it's only at higher levels of play that people start to calculate, hey, wait a second, I probably shouldn't head in a suspicious direction. I should probably leave the vision off to the right and then go south. I don't know if Rotting Tomb will notice. They've already been, of course, playing with the devil's cabbage today. They've had a little bit of the herb, the special oregano. It looks like a reactor and a tech lab to start. Very weird build with an engineering bay replacing the barracks in the wall off. Double gas on the high ground. Toasty Boat has got Warp Gate and 2 Stalkers on the way. Seems like we might just be seeing a good old 4 gate. Yep, 3rd gateway proxied at home. Factory's up for Rotting Tomb, but Rotting Tomb's not building any units yet, and that's what's worrisome. Rotting Tomb is doing that, well, I've got everything on one base, but I'm not actually using that everything. Please don't start +1 weapons as your first thing in this game. Please don't start. Okay, stim before a single unit starts. Still pretty questionable. You could have 3 Marines out by now. Or a Marauder. Oh my lord, he's building a 3rd barracks before building a fighting unit. The first Marine finally starts off. And what's the bet? +1 weapons is the next thing. You know it is going to be, right? This sort of just mishmash of a build where you're like, I'm rushing stim, but okay, at least 3 Marines are starting. There we go. Rotting Tomb's doing it. Toasty Boat is going to be going for extra pylons, extra stalkers here. And a 4th gateway does go down, the old trusty 4 gate. You don't really need both gas geysers. I think people just get in the habit of doing that to, I mean, it does allow you to warp in more stalkers, and actually, there was a sentry built, right? So, hey, sentries cost a lot of gas, why the heck not? Hasn't been using Chrono Boost on Warp Gate, which means we might miss that 420 timing if we're not careful. Behind it, reactor on the factory, starport building. Quite a lot of Marines are starting to pump out. As long as Rotting Tomb just keeps building depots and Marines nonstop, I actually think they could defend this, potentially. But all depends if Stim can finish. If Stim finishes and they can gather up a big ball of bio, they're good, but that barracks is idle. That barracks is idle for a second before 2 Marines start up, and you can tell that Rotting Tomb is just struggling to keep that production going. Factory and the starport aren't control grouped. No army units control grouped either. Oh, the +1 weapons, you can see, waiting for 100 minerals. Had it selected there, but I guess was spamming the button a bit too quickly. A single medevac is building. It's a 1 base, 3 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. Mass stalkers warping in on the other side. We've got 2 sentries coming across the map, but they seem to have held position there for some reason. And Marines only building 1 at a time. Oh, Rotting Tomb, you got to spend that money, mate. So Rotting Tomb's doing the classic. I'm going to get all the tech and upgrades and everything at once. But doesn't really have that big Marine count you'd expect at this stage of the game. And you know what, guys? It's 420, and it's time for the Protoss to light them up. A whole bunch of particle disruptors. I don't know what the sentry's attack called. A disruption beam. What can I say? Protoss love disrupting things. Disruptors, disruption beams. I think there's something with a disruptor particle or something on it. There's stasis traps, which basically just disrupt things in time. +1 weapons does start up. The tech lab goes down. Stim did finish, and it's a fair number of Marines. The problem is those sentries. They have force field. They also have guardian shield. If Tomb gets a tank out and pulls back to the high ground, gathers some SCVs, could do okay. but that's a lot of Stalkers and Sentries right now, and Guardian Shield is so scary. Rotting Tomb, unable to decide if they're staying on the low ground, or are they going to go for it? Oh no, Rotting Tomb moves in. My god, the Guardian Shield is devastating. Random force field goes down, and yeah, I think two Stalkers died. Oh my god, only 2 Stalkers died for a medevac and 12 Marines. That's going to be that. Rotting Tomb's like, GG, dude. You said you did at 420. Technically, I think that attack hit at 430. So guys, I'm going to rate that one quite badly. I'm still amazed that you can tell your opponents your strategy and they can't be ready for it, though. That is truly impressive. It's about 4 minutes 30. Well done, Toasty Boat. Over in the top left side, we've got One Base Alan, the Protoss player, up against Tassadar, who's playing Terran. Next year, I want to swear off air units, says One Base Alan. Okay, One Base Alan throwing down the gauntlet, no doubt playing this on the ladder. Tassadar's like, what are you talking about, dude? Is that a copy-paste? One Base Alan is like, of course. Okay, One Base Alan does respond, says, yeah, of course I copy-pasted. I'm saying it every game because I'm doing a challenge. Little does Tassadar realize that this is, of course, planning to be submitted to me show. One Base Alan, no doubt playing it. Tassadar queuing for ladder and getting someone saying some random stuff. Always can throw you through a bit of a loop. So far, though, both sides keeping up good SCV production. Barracks, gas going down. We've got a Proby. Now, the Proby could try to run up that ramp, get on inside, maybe harass the SCV on the barracks, but another SCV comes over. He's been told to attack the probe, but the SCV derps out there. For some reason, that always happens when a worker's running into your mineral line. A lot of the time, your worker, when you tell it to attack it, will just run straight past it, then turn around. It's something to do with the ramp, I think. Maybe it's when you attack it on the ramp. Either way, SCV comes in to scout, is like, hey, you're One Base Alan, you are on one base. But it's too early to really know that for sure. One Base Alan could easily drop a Nexus at any moment. Second pylon goes down, interestingly enough, only on one gas geyser. So very low tech from the Protoss player, who now goes for the cybernetics core. On the other hand, Tassadar is the one with 2 gases. So it's looking more like an expand build for the Protoss, as there is going to be a lot of minerals banking up. For the Terran on the other side, it is going to be one base for at least a little while longer, and is getting a Reaper to start things off. This SCV and this probe train playing a little bit of grab ass there. Hey, come back here, you dirty probe. Wait, why are there 2? Oh, one of them was a scouting SCV and one was chasing the enemy scouting probe all the way home. I get it. SCV is going to mine some minerals and run home. For those who are wondering, rather than clicking them home on the minerals, you could just click them there on the minerals. They'll automatically run home and return it. Problem, they will automatically run back to this side of the map to mine these minerals. So, yeah. 4 gates at a Twilight Council at a Zealot building. Okay, One Base Alan isn't just swearing off air. One Base Alan is swearing off gas units by the look of it. Is just getting enough gas maybe for what? Warp gate and then charge? And other than that, just building Zealots by the looks of it. This is a One Base Zealot build. It is completely and utterly transparent. It is like, oh look, you got 4 gateways, you're on 1 gas, there's no Nexus. Tassadar knows everything that Tassadar needs to know in this game, but oh, changes targets before getting the final hit on that probe. Oh, I mean, good micro by One Base Alan for the level of game that this appears to be, which means, I don't know, I'd say like platinum or gold. Hard to say, probably gold. Oh, Reaper needs to get out of there. So Tassadar's just done a lot of micro, but didn't actually get any kills. Is going concussive behind it, a Widow Mine. Widow Mine's very good versus Zealots, and a second barracks, and now another depot. So it's 1 base versus 1 base. Tassadar going concussive Marauders is super weird, though. To go Marauders this early, they don't really do much damage versus Zealots at all. So, in general, they're very good versus Stalkers and Adepts, though, just because they don't die to them too quickly, and they do massive bonus to Stalkers. Reaper comes back in. Tassadar going hardcore on the micro. Oh, he's going to grab a probe. Oh, man. This Reaper harass is actually ruining the economy of One Base Alan. It's doing a lot right now. As long as Tassadar just keeps building units behind it, reactors, of course, are the most important things, because Widow Mines and Marines wreck Zealots, and without reactors, you can't build those. But there we go. 1 reactor goes down. Tech Lab on the factory, and an engineering bay as well. Zealots are just going to walk across this map. 5, 6, 7 Zealots he's rallying across. Has made Warp Gate now, but hasn't actually built a forward warp in point. So this build, there's not really a lot to focus on, but One Base Alan's still forgetting to build the forward proxy. The Zealots are going to march up the ramp. This has got to be the silliest attack I've ever seen. It's 4 minutes and there's 3 Zealots walking up the ramp. The Marines and the Marauders are being individually microed by Tassadar there. Just needs to change the rally point to be closer to the ramp. SCVs are repairing both sides of the wall off, and it looks like that's a pretty good trade for the Terran. Bit of repair money, and you get 2 Zealots down, 2 of them very low as well. But look at the build. There's a turret building, a Silver League turret behind the mineral line. We've got Stim on the way, another turret there. We've got a Cyclone on the way. Cyclone definitely not necessary. So I think Tassadar is really overthinking things. You're up against someone who's just massing Zealots. I mean, they've got 1 gas, so you don't really need to worry about like Dark Templar or anything. If you build 1 turret, I'm okay with it. But 2 turrets seems like a bit much. Tassadar scouting, sees there's a forward pylon, doesn't see the mass Zealots. Oh no, get back up the ramp, get back up the ramp, Tassadar! All Tassadar needs to do is keep building units, which Tassadar's not doing. Tassadar is in full panic. Tassadar has had the opponent announce, basically, hey, I'm only making ground. Show them Mass Zealot. Tassadar is going to build a bunker, fully walling here even more. Pulling some SCVs to auto repair would be great. There's no fighting units building. Tassadar's just not producing right now. It's supply blocked. Seems to be frozen under pressure. He's trying to build Hellions. Widowmine's much more effective here, but the Widowmine's off to the right side of the map. There's 3 missile turrets on 1 base. But why? 1 for detection is the most you'd ever be needing here. Marines can do the rest of it if you actually build them. Don't let the Zealots up. Don't let the Zealots up. Okay, the depot gets up. Phew. 2 Zealots working on each side. As long as SCVs repair, Tassadar should be fine. Tassadar, you gotta pull more SCVs, bro. You gotta pull SCVs to repair the right side. Oh my god, the Hellions are doing so much damage. But that's so many Zealots. Oh my god, this has got to be the most basic strategy ever done. Announce to your opponent, condition them to expect it by showing them Zealots earlier, and then showing them another big pack of Zealots like a minute before you attacked. And still the opponent is caught off guard. Oh no, Tassadar, mind gamed yourself. The classic mind game. GG, well played, my bad, ha ha ha. I mean, yeah, my bad. I'm glad that Tassadar takes that well. Most players would rage there, but I gotta say, this is ridiculous. There is no way that this would ever work beyond the bottom leagues. Telling your opponent your strategy and then just pig-headedly doing it, that is ridiculous. All right, so after being a bit like, what is going on in these games? And there was a few more games that got submitted to this that were all the same thing. It was all like low to mid-level play of like, hey, I'm doing this strat. And the other player was like, okay, and then just died to it in like the most basic all-ins ever. And I was like, there's no way this works in GM. I was getting angry about that. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I've seen players of high level sometimes mind game themselves even more than low level. So what if this does work in GM? All right, guys, let's see if cheesing actually works at GM level, hey?
SCV ready. What's going on?
When we announce it. All right, so depot's a little bit early. That's okay. I think what we want to do is we want to hide the barracks outside our base.
You're the boss.
Oh, actually, yeah, down here at my 3rd. So this makes it really hard for him to know what's going on, right?
You scared me. Bad news.
But he doesn't actually know where the barracks is. So it's going to feel like, oh god, I'm getting cheesed. But he might build like bunkers or something like that, right? So that's kind of what we're going for here. Now this is obviously a very early barracks and gas. And we did miss like an SCV there. Let's actually rally our SCVs to the base correctly now. And I think what we're going to do is we'll just go reactor first. So there's like a tiny bit of trickery in that I'm hiding my barracks so he can't figure out exactly what cheese it is. Because my first few games trying this, I basically announced what I was doing and it did not work. But I think now as we go on.
What's going on? Go in the rear with the gear.
We're gonna definitely have some interesting situations. So we're gonna go orbital and reactor because I missed a bit of SCV production time. We are short 1 SCV, but that's all right. 3rd guy never got on that gas apparently. Just a bit of a bummer.
What's going on?
All right.
I'm going. Huh?
Command center upgrade complete.
Building the factory kind of gives away that it's not the craziest all-in, but
Yo.
Add-on complete.
has he pulled off gas is my question here, and the answer is yeah, a little bit.
Huh?
All right, so we kill the SCV.
SCV ready.
He probably thinks it's Marauders right now. Little does he know what's about to hit him.
SCV ready. The Grim Reaper has arrived. What's it? What? You want something? Nothing I
Alright, so these guys are there, hoping to ambush him if he tries to run up. Extra Hellion on the way. We'll be putting a medevac. Now, behind the medevac, we're just going to do a giant 2-base all-in if the first wave of just Reaper Hellion YOLO with a medevac doesn't work out. So it's going to be aggression into some more aggression. Definitely. I don't know how he got in here, but he did.
Base is under attack.
I'm listening. Bad news?
Okay.
What?
Well, he knows what I'm up to. Let's get that command center down to the near future.
What's it worth? Got something for me to
Ready for
kill?
dust off.
Ready to raise some hell.
Now what?
Stop.
Picking up or drop?
Fear the Reaper, man. The Grim Reaper has arrived.
Life flight's here.
I'm listening.
Ready for
What's it worth? On the way.
talk?
Add-on complete.
Where?
Oh! Well, that's one way to shut it down. Probably should have backed out of that once he saw exactly what was going on. Just wasn't expecting him to come up the right side the way he did. I'll still give it a go.
Liberation is at hand. Perfect.
SCV ready. Go, go, go.
Don't quite have scan available right now, so that does hurt.
SCV ready. Who was? Comms open. Channels clear. This ought to be good. SCV ready.
Is he mining?
As you say.
Add-on complete.
Show me what's going on. SCV ready. Armed and ready. Bad news? Go ahead.
Command center upgrade complete.
Ah! SCV ready. By the numbers, boys. Been waiting on you. Ready to plunder. Ready to roll in. SCV ready. In the rear with you gonna been waiting on you.
Jeez.
Standing by.
They really just can't find anything, can it?
Add-on complete.
Okay. Well, I guess we can put a tank there at least. Oh, apparently that never worked.
What's going on? SCV ready. SCV ready. Bad news, gateway. Coming through.
Okay, we got +1 on the way. Another Liberator.
SCV ready.
Still got these two Marines here watching for when he moves out. He's playing incredibly safe. So we're doing a really solid move. Now you might be wondering, what's the definition of cheese? Well, it's basically doing something that relies on your opponent being
SCV ready.
completely surprised by what's up.
You want
So,
SCV one. Stand back. This bit.
something that relies on the element of surprise. It's at least how I do it. I define it. And if they know the response, or if they scout it, then it really just should not work, essentially.
This better be good.
Something that purely relies on just catching your opponent off guard and has built-in gigantic Campbells. Okay, so I got 2 libs just waiting. We're gonna wait for him to get halfway across the map, and then as he's pushing in, we want the libs to siege up, because then the win condition doesn't become like, oh, make sure you take a third and maintain position and all this other stuff. It's literally just survive. And that's it. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about.
Ready for dust off.
Standing by. How can we help?
Research complete.
Go, go, go! Been waiting on.
All right, the double lib siege is coming in.
Who wants some? But you want a piece of me, boy?
Ready for dust off.
We're returning fire.
This better be good.
Upgrade complete.
Go, go, go!
Ready for dust off.
Keep your shit. Who wants some?
Combat shields, more medevacs.
This better be armed and ready. Gangway coming through. Who wants some? We could use some help here. You gonna get me armed and ready? This better be. Been waiting on you. Let it roll out. Outstanding. Who wants some? Well,
Picking up.
this better be. Go, go, go! We could use
Ready
some
for
help
dust
here.
off.
Armed and ready.
Ready for dust off.
Mineral field depleted.
Got freedom.
SCV ready.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Go, go, go!
Mineral field depleted.
Oh, we got it! Oh, we got it! Oh, that was a disgusting comeback. The double liberator. It's one of the best comeback moves in TVT. They did so much damage. All right, well, turns out, yes, GMs do stop cheeses when you actually tell them they're coming. However, they're not always ready for the next wave or the wave after that. So you can make some very dirty comebacks happen simply because you've put your opponent in a defensive mindset and the adrenaline's pumping and they start kind of making misplays. I think that's the pressure. That's the psychological element of you put people under pressure, they make mistakes, right? And I think that is tenfold at lower levels where you tell someone your strategy and it almost gives you an advantage because they're just going to trip over their own feet and mind game themselves and go, is he lying? Is he telling the truth? And even if they believe you, they're not really sure exactly how to respond. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoy other games, doing Demented build orders on the ladder and trying out all sorts of different challenges, check out some of these ones on the screen. Don't forget, if you're really enjoying the channel, you can support the Patreon like these lovely people here. A special thanks to Jacob G and Maxan, our Leviathan, and of course, conductor of the D-Town Express. Info's down below in the description. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.